Let's see if my mic's working now. I had to restart the stream to get it to go. Oh, commercial. What is this noise coming from? Oh, hold on, guys. I'll get with you in a minute here. Trying to get rid of some nonsense that's going on. Cool, cool. Let's make sure that it's actually going. Is it working now? I can't see. Trying to get my mic to go. It'll be easier for me to draw and chat that way. Okay, there we go. Cool, cool. Voice! Alright, good. Okay, what was the question? What type of comic book is it? Man, that's a really good question. I already have the first issue out. This is the second issue and I'm working on right now. It's basically about a character that has roughly 99% of a city in a Stockholm syndrome situation. But there's a kind of a private security firm that's manipulating the populace a little bit with him, using him as a kind of a sponsored terrorist to scare people into doing what they're supposed to, kind of a thing, and also to pay insurance to keep them safe from the boogeyman, kind of a thing. The character's name is Satire. That's the name of the book too. So basically, he goes around the city and just fucks with people. He's kind of a homage mashup of Deadpool and Joker, kind of a thing a little bit. There's some other comic book nonsense that's tangled into it beyond that, but those are probably the two big things. You want to make comic books too? Cool, cool. Yeah, the best thing to do is just to do it. Because for me, what is it? This was a throwaway kind of a book, something that I was trying to do to um, get myself like uh, away from the stuff that I really cared about, because I have a lot of other ideas that I have um, I don't know, a lot of time invested into it, and I want to just do a one-off, something that I didn't have to uh, obsess about. The only problem is I end up making this into that whole kind of obsessing about it too. So it ran away from me, but I'm glad it did. It turned into something cool. So I'm like where it's going, and it's still a um, good experiment and good practice for me for doing the stuff that I really want to do. and most of that stuff is going to be done with my brothers. So, and this is separate from that. So, been drawn for 7 years. So you have some skill. Cool. The best thing to do with stuff is just get something done. There's no wrong way to do it, I feel. Because like how I'm putting together this book is like patchworked. It's not done traditionally at all. So yeah. This is me trying to do my own thing and whatnot. Because a lot of the stuff that I'm working on with my brothers are larger in scope. Hopefully, somewhat soon I'll be working on that and this at the same time, though. Because I most likely will be inking my brother's art for that, and maybe doing covers. Written and drawn comic books during the first 2 years. Cool. Do you have actually stuff published? Cool. Is that Plus Plusudge? I don't know how to say your name, but thanks. I usually I have to just pick stuff. Pull. I could say pull. Pulsa. The J is confusing me. Pulsage. Pulsage. I think people's uh, handles in this stuff are awesome. They, master of procrastination. Oh, I'm good at that too. I'm always doing other things. It's been a minute since I've gotten back to doing this. I've been uh, doing other things like what is it? What else was I working on today? I was doing a print of high roll 63, which I actually need to put up the what is it? My let me pull that up actually and do that real quick. Uh, where is that located? Need to put it update my progress. That's down below. Pencils folder. What folder would that be? Screenshots. Been writing. Coming with tomorrow. Okay. Yeah. Which do you have only one book that you're trying to do one story, or you're trying to do more than one than that? Because most people that do comic books are interested in doing it. They have quite a few in their heads, but then they have one that's their main passion, main focus. How can I do this? Have too many stories, yes. I understand that. Okay, I need to. Oh dear. What did I do there? What? Okay, there we go. What we got going here? Try to shut down all my windows I have open. Okay, let's do this. File open. If it Instagram, you post your sketches there? Cool, cool. Should I throw up a link? I'm always interested in seeing people's art. Okay. Very cool. Transform. Yeah, most of the stuff that I have on there is print work. There is some of the progress of the Satire comic book. Okay, I can get rid of you now. No. Oh, did I kill that? Retransform. You're on mobile, can link. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. I will. What's your handle? Do you know what it is? What your thing is through Instagram? That is mine. It's underscore underscore, I believe. Ashler underscore underscore. Mm, 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 mm. Cool. Let's see here. Searching. Let's fit on screen. Why toy around with this? How can I do this? There. There. Ah, there you are. Cool. So, have you actually published anything? Because I'm seeing, what is this? You have pictures of Black. Is that Black Lagoon? I don't know if that's just a book you're into. Just started inking with a brush. Yes, manga. Let's see here. Not published yet? Okay, cool. Because me, I self-published. I just put all my work together and found a printer online and had them print off. Like my first print run was like just 30 books. I think actually I think it was actually 25, but they had like problems with the order, so then they gave me like 10 more on top of it. And then I did like 100 after that for the second print run of the first book. You can draw machinery and backgrounds. You can or can't. 'Cause usually a lot of people, it's one way or the other way. They're good with interiors and exteriors. You can. Cool, cool. That is a good thing to be able to do. I attempt to do everything. This is being tedious. Don't apply. Transform. 38. No. 28. 25. Your least. You haven't posted any of that on Instagram yet? Your least favorite art right now is the most recent one? Let me see here. Was it Inktober Day 10? Inktober? Ah, I get it. October, Inktober. Okay. What do you not like about it? The shadows are placed strong? It looks okay to me. It depends on the only thing that makes it look weird is the shirt's not doesn't have the shadow that's on the side of the face. And I'm not sure if the top of the head is hair or shadow from something else. Some of that stuff is tricky to make that pop right. But I like his facial expression. It's really good. Unless I did. I think it works. Is the shadow that's down the center of his forehead, is that his hair? Yeah, 20 minutes to post that. No, it's not his hair. What is that shadow down the what is it supposed to be? It's a mistake. So if you were to scan that, you would remove that. Merge down. say, okay, I can put you in. You don't have a scanner? That's why you take pictures of your stuff? Ah, that can work. Scanners are nice. Though, sometimes, what is it? Back in the day, I would go to the library and whatnot to scan stuff sometimes. Sometimes you can go to like FedEx or Kinko's or something along that line, and they'll do scans for sometimes kind of ridiculous prices, but not always. Where do we want this hand to go? Your library has a scanner? Yes. Thing is you can usually find used scanners for pretty cheap online. Only thing you gotta make sure is that it's potentially compatible with your computer. Most computers these days, everything's compatible. Because you can always make it go back to the old system stuff. You can run it on like Windows 8 and Vista, and sometimes even older than that. No problem. It's cool seeing people trying to do art and stuff like that. Because I feel it helps like connecting with other artists. That's one of the cool things about I like about doing the creative stuff on Twitch is you can actually chat with other artists and kind of brainstorm a little bit together, feed off of each other's passion and talent. Because I don't know if you notice, like when uh, artists like work on certain things on here, it seems like so some of the friend groups they end up start doing the same thing. Like you'll see one artist that's a friend of another artist actually start doing a similar piece. That happened with the Joker and Harley Quinn kind of related stuff for a minute. A couple of people were drawing that for a minute. You notice? Yeah, I like some of your stuff. What do you use for your painting? Is that marker, watercolor, gouache? I'm assuming your book that you're working on is about this kind of cowboy guy. Watercolor, color pencils, chalk, pastel, cool. The bearded fellow is your character? Yes. What is that, handlebar mustache? Yeah, from what it looks like you have going on here, yeah. If you can actually get get the gun ho to actually do the book, then you should be fine with actually um, turning something out. My usually the tricky bit for me is this doing the story and the artwork together is a little bit tricky because I'm a little bit weird with my story. Has to be recursive and have a lot of interconnecting stuff, so I have to write forward and then write backwards a little bit. So I'm kind of retconning stuff as I'm doing it. Cause yeah, like the picture you just you liked is basically this one that you're looking at, but like I said, I'm retconning it. I'm adding a panel. I moved that one down, and then even the Bang Kachuk one, uh, I actually edited that today too. So a character who's a cowboy biker who fights demons by. Okay, that's not weird. Are you into Ghost Rider at all? No, that's not weird. You like Ghost Rider? Because that has a he has that kind of a vibe to him too. What kind of a demon setup do you have? Is it Christian mythology demons or like Cthulhu or something else kind of a demon? So I know that there's different types of kind of concepts of that. Even like there's what is it? Demons or aliens, kind of a weird thing concept as well. Or technically demons and angels or are aliens concept. Okay, that's pulled up all the way there. Do I see? Look at my. If you knew, you'd be publishing. A lot of research. Yes, yes, yes. That's why I'm personally get stuck with my stuff too. This is that stuff. Research and trying to make everything flow the way I want it to. I usually find it helpful for to chat with people about that stuff just because especially when someone else is asking about my book or about stuff, they'll ask questions that are beneficial because I don't know the answer until they ask me the question. Yes, a lot of cool possibilities, yeah. My thing is I usually try to figure out something that is weird, like not common at all, like something that hasn't been done before. At least try to find that. The only hard thing with that is it's usually kind of almost impossible to find those things. I don't know about that hand there, but that one's kind of okay. I will play with it. What did I want to see? I wanted to see his. See if I in prior pictures. How yeah, it's really up there. Okay, so yeah, fix this. Weird is normal. This is true. So let's. We're gonna put him in the background. Yeah, let's do a different layer though. Probably gonna move him over though. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see where I put him. Thanks, man. You're helping. That's no problem. How many people do you actually get a chance to actually talk about your book with? Do you have like any other friends that are trying to put together their own book too? 'Cause I know there's a couple what is it? What is it? Groups out there that where people will get together and try to just do like sketch session stuff. Um, I know convention oriented stuff is getting involved or uh, getting to know people that do cons and stuff like that can also help with finding other people that are doing that kind of a thing. Just your best bro. Yeah, that can be tricky if you don't have other people to help kind of push you along a little bit or encourage you to do stuff. Okay, let's mess with this onomatopoeia real quick here. What's a K, K, K? Is it a K? How do I like doing my onomatopoeias again? K. Hmm. Crack is a hard one. I don't necessarily want to say completely crack, but close to crack. Your older brother doesn't have a choice. He lives in the same age. So you're new online with your art and story? What do you mean by that? You're new? Ah, yes. I understand how that feels. Uh, what is it? The thing is that's story-wise, I agree with that. The other side of it, though, I feel like um, it's a double-edged sword with that because if you're not sharing your work, then you're not building up a kind of a fan base or a friend base with your work. Um, Thing is to share some of it, because the thing is if it's like just almost like panel shots and cover shots and stuff like that, stuff that's not going to give away too much of your context, then it's fine until you do publish something. Because after you've published one thing of it, then you've got it. The other thing you can do if you're worried about characters, um, trying to kind of semi-copy weirdly kind of copyright characters, you can hide them in your book or put them in your book, like put them in posters or put them on covers of magazines and that kind of stuff. So then you have a way of saying, well, I created this character in that look way back when, so then you can actually confront kind of people a little bit here and there. But some things look so mundane and similar, it's kind of, it doesn't matter. But for the most part with that, it's I just keep anything like you could be a little bit more like holding back some of the story a little bit here and there to a certain degree. Um, Maybe like stuff that would be spoilers, basically, and then just you still would want to describe your synopsis and that's kind of stuff or your rough idea of it. Because like what you just told me about it was that's basic kind of information that's not super heavy or anything. And other people have done the whole demon hunter thing, so that's not not something that someone could actually steal from you. Yeah, the only thing you said was a cowboy to fight demons. Yes, which is basic basic level of that kind of a thing is fine. But then again, uh, anything extra beyond that, if you're actually working on it, it's good to kind of expand it beyond there too. Because, um, for example, I would not divulge the end of my book to someone like this book. It's going to kind of have uh, a wrap up to it. It could keep on going after that, but I want to get it to the point where it gets to the end, so I could potentially stop. Um, but with that, it's I don't want to I don't want to reveal it so it can be stolen, but more so I don't want to reveal it because it's I don't want to spoil it either. So it's the plot that makes it original. Yes. It's how you make a cowboy who fights demons interesting. Because the thing is what's interesting about that stuff is you have, I don't know, comic book wise, what you would have to compete with that's in that type of a genre. Um, I know, like, what is it? That's stuff that's kind of popular. I don't know how popular, what is it, Supernatural still is these days, but if that's still going strong, then that would be good. What happens? A one shot? Kind of. I hopefully I can figure out a way to write enough of it to have a beginning and ending. Because I have kind of I already have the beginning because I did that. I need to somehow get to the ending and then kind of have some of the filler. I may try to keep the do something weird with it. I'm thinking I may actually write write the first couple of books be so much information, and then have maybe a gap of time happen, and then cut to the end, and then have a basically a space of uh, nonsense, basically maybe just legend of what happened, and then so I can finish it off, cap it off as a full kind of a story, but then be able to go back and tell the stuff that I didn't finish. So jump in time, or have a huge thing of time that I could go back and actually write story in. And then from there, I could actually, if I wanted to, write story beyond that, or have someone else, if it's popular enough, that direction for some weird reason. But because I don't want necessarily do I want to actually do this book forever. Because like I said, when I first was trying to do this, it was more of a me trying to get some art done, or get a comic book done, because I've been trying to create one forever since I was a little kid. So this was me putting forth the effort to say, screw it, I'm going to actually make something. And the best way that I was to do that is make something I didn't care about. The only problem is now I care about it. It backfired. But the thing is, that I find it's interesting is I don't think I could work on the book if it wasn't interesting to me. There has to be some substance, something interesting about it for me to actually have the energy, or the desire to even really work on it. If I don't have that, then it's like it's it has no power to kind of drive me to actually work on it. What is the word that I've been toting around? Emotional onus. Emotional weight. How did I do that? Let's look at that. Yoink? How did it do yoink? Above here. Emotional weight makes good stories. Yes. Yes, it does. And not necessarily does it have to be literally making someone feel something emotional. There's there's weird things they can do with breaking people's brains a little bit, making them think things that they've never thought before, or challenge their belief systems or reality. That kind of stuff is stuff like what's a good example? M. Night Shyamalan's, if I can say his name right, his gimmick stuff kind of does that a little bit here, even though it's kind of it's lost its magic. Matrix kind of did it, where you have like a what the fuck moment. You get a big one with that. That's good. Those are important. At least I feel, because what is it? I'm not sure what really got me into those. I know, like, I'm a big fan of Metal Gear, and that's some of that has gotten me a little bit into um, the weird story element things. There's certain things that are in there that does stuff. What is it? There's a manga, old manga called Battle Angel, something like on Anana. I can't remember her name. Something Battle Angel. But the writer that did that does some of the stuff that is in Metal Gear I really like, where they go into detail about the technology or about the history or about stuff that you don't really have to go in detailed with. You don't really have to talk about. You could just be action. You could just be uh, love story or whatever scenario you're going through, whatever drama or whatever. But when people actually are willing to uh, breathe life or reason into the world, it makes it much more interesting to me. The fuck happened? I don't know. What the fuck happened? Did something? Did you lose me? Is the Stories. Let's see here. Cut, 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 cut. Okay, you merge down with you. Oh crap! I did not want to do that. Well, let's do this and then cut that. I'm apparently confusing you. That happens. There is a delay. And confusion is fine. Ah, I see. I assumed that's what it was after I said it, especially after you confirmed it and I was being confused by you. Yeah, I don't know how the best way to actually do that. I know some people do, was it the me thing? What is it? What is it? What they do? Let's see if I can. But this is more you actually doing an action on Twitch. Me, 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 me. See here, backslash me. Yeah, this thing. The fuck happened? But that's more saying that you are saying that almost like about yourself, or it's more of an action thing. That's how it's used on Twitch. I think other people have done similar things to that with like the weird stars bracketing around their stuff, where they're commenting about something that's not real almost. But that's tricky. It's tricky. And it doesn't really matter. Don't matter. Because I can be confused. Everybody can be confused for a minute, and then it gets explained, and then we understand again. Because I would have completely understood that in the context if you were talking to me. It would have made sense, because you would have said it in a different way. Your tone of your voice would have been a little bit different than how you were actually saying everything else prior to that. At least that's how I do it. When I say imaginary things, my voice changes. It gets low or high, one of the two, and kind of an accent of some sort. Me, Me, Me is a music video. What is the music video about? And who is it by? Okay, definitely gonna have to go back in, clean up, clean up, clean up. Probably gonna try to still some of these backgrounds. A wife music video at what the fuck? You wouldn't I would you wouldn't why should you dislike nudity? A wife video? Is that what I would try looking up? I have no problem with nudity. I'm not a baby like most cultures. A wife? Hmm. I wonder if I already know what it is. No, it's Japanese song, so I don't know. So what would I need to look up? Would I look up a wife music video? Is it the best thing to try Googling it? I'm getting like wife dash bodies official music video. Auto correct on, sorry. No problem. Ah, there's no Wi-Fi. Okay, cool. We will find it. Oh yeah, yeah, I've seen this one. Yeah, it's really well done. Uh, Gotta love those cicadas. They don't sound the same where I live though. Japanese cicadas are definitely different than Americana, or at least Arizona. love animation. The sound. You're in America? Cool. Same here. Have you heard cicadas before? Florida? Ah. Are there cicadas in Florida? Nope. Plenty of mosquitoes. Yeah, I think so. If you're near water, you're kind of screwed. Let's start. Kinda shaping this a little bit more stingy a little bit. Because one of the things that's also helping me with this is my first book that I did took me forever, ever to do. So I'm trying to do this one not as uh, where is it? Not so much perfectionist kind of a feel to it, more a little bit sloppy, more loose, so I can actually potentially get it done. Which is also helping me with it is because if you get stuck with having to have it be a certain quality and stuff like that, you can be like working on a page forever. Ah, lake, yep, yep. Yep, that's the best way to do it. Is just let go. Because the thing is what I find interesting is if you actually kind of give up to a certain degree um, when you're working on something and just keep on drawing, it'll usually turn itself around and actually uh, become basically what you want it to be or what it needs to be. You'll be end up being happy with it. Because usually the issue is you have a, or at least I do when I'm doing art. I have a kind of a desire for it to be something, and not always is that's what it needs to be. Sometimes the art has a little bit of mind of its own. I feel sometimes, which is kind of weird. And if you let it kind of have its way for a minute, then you'll be pleasantly surprised, and you'll be like, who the fuck drew that shit? and shit in like not a good way, not a bad way. Because sometimes I'm really at awe of some of the stuff that I draw. Nice dip. How is your character design? The cowboys? Let me take a gander. I really liked his hat and a couple of the ones that you had on there. It's very dynamic. Back, back, back. Let me see here. He reminds me of Wolverine a little bit in some way in design. Not not completely in the face though. More his clothes. How tall is he supposed to be? Yeah, I bet. Well, the thing is I feel that you got that nice fat brim, shadowed side stuff that going on it. Because turning it up like that helps with it. I think that makes it a lot more interesting. Where it's like that almost um, I don't know what do we call that. It's a little bit unrealistic, cartoony or caricature of a hat than it is a real hat. I've seen hats that are like that, but they're kind of few and far between in existence on people's heads to fit that way. Taller than Wolverine. So I'm trying to think who he reminds me of. Because just some of the pictures just remind me of that just because of the clothing that he's wearing. So it's just probably the in that vein of stuff as the Wolverine stuff. His how he looks though, it's I don't know. I'm trying to. It almost seems like reminds me of kind of a wrestler feeling to him a little bit in some of the pictures. And a little bit of Big Boss here and there too. Kind of. But I usually am going off the things that I'm interested in. I project that stuff onto stuff. So, does he have no, he doesn't. He doesn't look like he has a. What do you say now? Use. You use Big Boss as inspiration? Really? Because I feel Big Boss has a little bit of a Wolverine in him, so just a little bit. Cool. It's a good character to have as a inspiration, I feel. I think I personally like Jack or Big Boss more than I do Solid Snake, just purely because of the story that was told in um, Snake Eater and Peace Walker. He has more heart, and he's more of an emotional character, I feel. Look too similar to Big Boss. Yeah, and then you probably also look a lot like Patch, which is one of the Wolverine's identities. Is he had a eye patch for a minute. You removed it. Just I see that. Yeah, with that kind of a thing is if I would try to figure out something that's similar to an eye patch that's not an eye patch. Just one of those kind of visual gimmicky things that are not liking that. Because what is there? There's eye patches. Um, Different types of facial hair can kind of do that. Because it's kind of that weird thing that scars on one eye, missing an eye. Um, Glass eye kind of stuff. Yeah, I would agree. Um, the bandana that Snake wears is a good example of that kind of thing. Just like a weird accessory that um, is worn. I'm trying to remember something else. Moles on faces. You know, there's other ones. Bandages on the face. Monocle. It's another one that people use. More up there like that. That's a good one. Scarf. Yeah, I see it around his neck. Yeah, because I'm looking at the one where he's has a blue plaid with the scarf and the coat. That's the one that feels really Wolverine-y to me. More his gear. I think there was another one too. The one with it's a rectangle and he has a gun sticking out of the frame. That one also feels Wolverine-y to me because of the jacket. The jacket reminds me of the jacket from the movies and the the button-up shirt kind of thing. But other than that, it's. But I feel like that kind of stuff, like realizing or having what do you call it, archetypal kind of characters that you can use to help guide your character is good to know. Like, especially if you say, okay, yeah, the character is like this character that already exists, but how much of the character am I using versus how much of the character am I not using? So then you can actually flesh out who your character is and how different he is from everything else. Makes it something that is familiar but new. Leather coat, but kind of. Yeah, yeah. I could I could see that. I like the coat with the fuzz around it or whatever. Personally, and I see your earlier ones with the leather coat. That's yeah, that's kitschy. That seems that changes his feeling. The winter coat? Yeah, I like the winter coat personally. A leather coat is something, especially if it's a trench coat, that makes him feel um, what is it? Like a lot of other people that wear trench coats. It just puts him in that category of a character. The I it's you don't really see a lot of people wearing the what is it? Like that winter coat or something that's more a little bit I don't know, uh, old or whatever. Dated is probably the way that I'm is the feeling that I'm getting from that. Because I know like the stuff that I enjoy Wolverine wearing is the stuff that's like stuff I would personally never wear, and it's just like dated is a good word to put it, but he's lived for a long time, so it makes sense for him to actually be wearing stuff that's a little bit back out of his period of clothing and whatnot. So leather coat was done to death. Yeah, yeah. You'll figure out his closeout. Yeah. The best thing to do is just um, play with stuff and then also just find people's opinions and stuff like that. Because my opinion would be to try to try to do to look at Wolverine a little bit, and then try to combine it with something else so it's not completely heavy on that. But because the thing is I'm not sure any other characters that wear that kind of plaid unbuttoned top button shirt off the top of my head besides Wolverine. Because what is it? The like I was saying, the best thing to do with trying to diversify a character is to look at the characters that are similar or homages to it, and then kind of do a yes and no scenario with them. Like look at what they wear and what and say okay and what they do, and look at the things that are yes and no's to those things. It's like, yeah, that's perfect for that character, but it's not good for my character. Only certain things are that way, and try to figure out why that is. Why does that work and why does that not work? That can answer like weird questions. Seth is Wolverine though. Is that your character's name, Seth? Or what is this about? Explain. Yeah, Seth? Is he bald? Or does he just have a buzz cut? One time we don't speak of that. So normally his hair is long. And it kind of looks like from what you've been drawing on here, he's slowly gotten older almost, it looks like. Like he's got a young Phil to now he's got more of a in his dog days kind of thing. He's 40 now. Too old? No, I think that's cool. Because I think, what is it? Snake, if I can remember, not what is it? Really bad with remembering the age timeline thing. or supposable timeline with Snake Eater versus like um, Metal Gear Solid 5 kind of a timeline. I think he's like in his 30s, 35, 30, 38, I think maybe in uh, Peace, was not Peace Walker, but Snake Eater, and then from there on to 9 years after that, he's like definitely at least in his 40s, if not 50s, in Metal Gear Solid 5. So that's makes perfect sense to have that. Does Seth have too many wrinkles? Um, Not from what I would say no. If you were using Big Boss stuff for reference, I think that'd be probably perfect. I like how he feels. I like the weathered feel to him. Um, Especially depending on the context of the story, because I don't know if you're what his past is and whatnot. If there's a kind of a context to him actually being kind of hardened, hard-boiled by life. His past is fucked up. Good. It looks like it's fucked up. Because what is it? Have you played Snake Eater? Not too much, but there's something. Well, it doesn't have to be like huge, whatever it is. No, that's perfectly fine. I just what is it? Ask because the fact that you were kind of using maybe it as what do you call it? Reference. That helps me be able to what is it? Not talk or talk about things. Have you actually seen a game, let's play of that one though? Yes, yes, he does. And he's interesting because the design of him kind of has fluctuated. Same thing with Snake. Because basically what Hideo has done is chosen different like actors and basically the same thing like I'm suggesting with finding similar people like actors or comic book characters that are similar to your character. He basically did that. Like Solid Snake was supposed to be Christopher Walking when he was younger. He's based on him. And if you look at the earlier artwork, his face does look kind of like a young Christopher Walken. Can't say his name right now, but and then I can't remember what the inspiration for him in the second one was. But I know in the fourth one, he's supposed to be this cowboy actor that he really enjoys. Western actor when he has just the mustache. Solid Snake. No, he does. Well, the thing is you'd have to see a young Christopher Walken from like Deer Hunter. Because I think the bandana actually came from uh, Deer Hunter a little bit. Sam Elliott. Because I know some of like the concept art that they drew on like the covers of things and stuff like that. They stole things, but the box art I think is different than the actual in-game and conceptual art that Hideo Kojima wanted. Why can't I find this? Come on. Yes! Sam Elliott? No, it wasn't Sam Elliott. No. Who was it? He kind of looks like him. Let's see, what movie was he in? He was in Escape from LA? Because I know Escape from LA and Escape from New York is also another homage thing. I think it's where Hideo Kojima got the name Snake and the eye patch. Um, let's see if I can't find this guy. Zoom. Zoom, zoom, zoom. A cowboy with a mustache. Tom Selleck. Misspelled his name. No, it wasn't Tom Selleck. Even though that, back to Christopher Walken, or Walking, however you say his name, um, uh, he was in Magnum PI on one of the episodes when he was really young. May not be a picture of this actor, so I may not be able to find out. There's gotta be a picture of him. No. President. Who was he in the movie? It's not him. I don't know if I'm thinking of the right movie. I swear it's Escape from LA, not Escape from New York. But I may be wrong. It may be Escape from New York. It's yeah, it might be. Yes, yes it is. uh, Ignore the top 5,000 there. But it's Lee Van Cleef. Clint Eastwood? No, it's not Clint Eastwood. It's Lee Van Cleef. That's who Old Snake from Metal Gear Solid 4 is supposed to be based on. Where's that at? Hmm. But yeah, that happens quite often with my streams. When I get talking to someone about something, I'll go off on tangents with them. So that's normal. Bang. Merge. There we go. You're like my other older brother. Technology is great. In what way? Hmm. So let's hide you, and it'll be easier to reveal background that way, and then I can use that to span off of and add to it, make it larger and bigger and whatnot. The background, me stealing backgrounds, yo, yeah. I'm all about cutting corners if I can. Let's see here. I'm gonna have to figure out a way to deal with that though. You don't draw digitally? Yeah, I didn't draw digitally for a long time too. Mainly got into it for learning uh, how to color artwork, and in doing so, um, that and also inking some of my artwork too. That is also another reason why. Because I inked my, did I ink my, no, I did not. My first comic book, I just did it in pencil and then scanned it and inked it digitally. But I did it like super crazy style how I did that one. That one was ridiculous. When you were 13, and you should post an old drawing. Old drawings are good, especially if you try to keep your original stuff still as canon. Because usually my big thing that I would recommend for people with their old stuff, don't throw away your old concepts and whatnot. Use them as story stuff. For example, like you were talking about the eye patch thing, try to work that into a either the what would be an example, using it as something that actually he used, he has a joke, commentary on something, seeing someone else with an eye patch, or some kind of a context, something to it. So those the old stuff doesn't go to waste. You can still kind of feed off of it. Especially if the character lives for a long time. That's a really good way to do progression and age of a character. One of the easier ways to do it. Because with that, um, basically what you're doing is allowing the character to age with you, thus the character ages. As you grow up and change the character, then the character changes with you. Is here. It's really shitty. You love all your old and new concepts. Yeah, yeah. Thing is I would use it, like even the trench coat and that kind of stuff. The thing is, it's just working it into it where it's like it's just part of the progression of canon. And the thing is you don't have. It could be just past, not necessarily something you really are talking about in your timeline of the story. Because it could be, okay, he's 40, and then when he was younger, yeah, he wore trench coat or um, uh, what else is the other thing? I don't know how you would work the eye patch into it. The eye patch would be more probably something of a joke, would be more of a, or commentary on it. Him saying something about somebody else wearing an eye patch, but um, a progression of a character being cheesy, not being something that is I don't know, what is that kind of a thing? Because you were saying that it was the trench coat was what was the word that you used? Kitsch, I think, kitsch, something like that. Yeah, he could have a trench coat for an issue. Yes, you could do that. Um, and then it like he ruins it or it gets destroyed. It could also be in old pictures or something like that. That's also another thing you could do. I don't know if he would have photos of himself back in the day, but or flashbacks you could have him wearing that kind of stuff. Ah, have him as fan art of Seth as Big Boss with the kitsch. Yes, kitsch. Okay, that's right. That's what you said. Thought so. But yeah, um, trying to think what else is, because I know like technically you could easily have him hurt his eye and him have to wear an eye patch for a minute. Um, but that would have to make sense within your story or whatever, or maybe the eye patch has to be it's something more dealing with him having to defeat a demon kind of thing. A weird thing where you can't look at the demon with both eyes or something weird like that. Because I don't know how your story's going, if it's going to be more Constantine or um, what is it? Who are some of the witch hunting demon kind of weird ghost thing? You have Constantine style of stuff. You got Ghost Rider kind of a style. Trying to think of if there's any other ones I have off the top of my head. Um, okay, there we go. Or basically something that doesn't really exist. He doesn't need an eye patch. Nah, I wouldn't have him need an eye patch. The thing is the the idea of perpetuating that idea as a thing, I think is interesting. Those first initial epiphanies that you have as a um, when creating a character, I think are can be kind of important in some ways. You can actually use them to just um, flesh out the past of the character legitimately in the story, because that's basically what it is. It was the past of the character in the creation process, and you do have other characters. This is true. You could give the eye patch to someone else. And it doesn't have to be necessary, yet again, always on type of a dealio. Is there any other like movies or comic books that you're aware of that the kind of a fill that you're wanting to do your book in? So I have kind of an idea of what is it? The kind of a genre and feel of it. Yes, Kappa. Give you a moment. Ooh. Okay, I gotta fix the ear. I must enter your brain and think. Your brain, okay. So I think it's kind of crowded in here. Alright, let's see here. So I'm gonna pull this over. There and there. can't think of the name of the movie? Ah. Can you describe the movie? It's coming back to me. You can do it. I'll do you. It's if you can't think of it, that's fine. I have that problem too with trying to recall stuff on the fly. It can be tricky. Oh. Hmm. Delete. Ooh, Berserker's good. I could see that. All right. You do have inspirations, but they're just not here right now. No, no problem, man. Berserker is a good example there. Yeah, Berserker kind of feels a little bit more. What is that? Um, kind of a feeling is that? kind of a Cthulhu-y almost. It's weird demons. You like the shadow? Ooh, the shadow's good too, yeah. Only the shadow knows. You saw the fan art? That helps remind me of stuff that kind of, because like there, V for Vendetta. I have a little bit of V for Vendetta that's in this in my comic book. Like I said earlier, there's Joker, and that kind of connects to Harley there. Um, the only thing that would connect for to that one, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, is the second book is, but it's the art style that I'm going for is more dirty and stuff like the original comic books. Sons of Anarchy. Okay, I haven't really seen much on that. Just like TV spots and like advertisements of it. But I could see that being something down the line of it. Is your character a biker? Is he like part of a biker gang kind of a scenario? He hasn't told you? Do you do that too? Do you talk to your character? Because that is a form of writing where you actually create a um, yes, yeah, yeah. Because basically how I did mine is I created a kind of a matrix of yes and no's for how I would act, and then from there I started asking that matrix questions, and then as time goes on, then um, the reaction stuff to stuff kind of fleshes itself out. Um, it helps a lot, I feel, where you can start getting that character's voice in your head. Um, the only problem with my character, he is really an awful person, and what he asks me to do, I tell him no. I say, what else would you do? Say, I can't do that. I will not. That's too far. The Matrix, the first one? No, like the word Matrix, a system of yeses and nos, ones and zeros. Or are you just talking about the Matrix is a good example for something that's kind of close to your book? I'm dumping my inspiration now. Okay. I see. Sweet. What about the Matrix? Is that one? I'm not sure exactly what part of that would be connected to what you're talking about, besides the fact that everybody wears trench coats. Ah, false reality one. That seems like it to be a very popular thing with a lot of people these days. It's a fun one though. It's a classic. 'Cause I'm a big fan of like the old books and uh, with like Wizard of Oz and what is it? Wizard of Oz, Alice in Wonderland, Peter Pan. And that stuff is it's heavily done in a lot of anime these days too. Oh, you're new to reading books? Witch in the Wardrobe. Lot of the things out there that have done that thing. The thing is it's always about how you do it. Is what makes it interesting. The Cold Dish. I have not heard of that one. Is it any good? You did read the Narnia books? Cool. What is it? Gulliver Travels is another good example of weird otherworldly stuff. Cut. Cold Dish is a modern Western cowboy sheriff. So that's good. That should give you some kind of inspiration then for what you're trying to do, I would assume. Longmind is the sheriff. So how am I going to do this bit here? Longmine. Longmine. Am I reading that right? Longmire. Okay. No. That R looked like an N. Your autocorrect is fucking terrible. Longmire Nasty on the cold dish. Novel? Okay. No problems here. Ah, okay. It changed it to Longmire Nasty, okay. Save. You're hoping. What is it? Your perverted sketches don't appear in the chat. Oh, searches. Okay, sorry. I need to blow up the chat. I can't see shit across the room. Bigger. 250. Yes. There you go. I need glasses to see. It'd be fine if it did. I'm not gonna judge you. I probably look at a lot worse shit than you do. But everybody says that. Everybody's kink is fucking weird compared to someone else's kink. It's just because it's not your kink. Oh, really? No, you don't. See? See? And no one's gonna win that fight. You get in that scenario, it's like, my shit is worse than your shit. As long as it makes you happy. It's a tie. Yeah, usually with that shit, it's gotta be. Because you can't really. It's a little bit paradoxical. Or not weird. I just can't really define someone's weirdness to be worse or better or whatever. It's an opinion. Opinions are weird. What? Why are you moving around like that? Okay, do I have to do this? Yeah, I do have to do this. It's all that matters. All that matters. I don't know about this guy in the background, how I have it set up here. Where you at? I can draw porn, but I don't post it. Yeah, they won't let people draw uh, pornography or anything along that stuff on Twitch. They're weird about sex. No deviant art. Yeah. I think I want his posture. Drop this down, lean up a little more. No, you know. Pick Arto. Picardo, you can. Is that a streaming site? You don't want to be known for that. Yes, I agree with that a little bit. I feel like if I were to post stuff, I would put it underneath a pseudonym. I would not put that underneath uh, my art art name that I've got going on or anything along that line. Not safe for work. Oh, okay. That makes sense. Needs to be that kind of a thing out there. I feel like the gambit should be a little bit more open though. Oh no, what is that? Okay, that's just that yelling at me. The only issue that I have with that is not safe for work thing is that's not safe for work is up for debate. Someone, one person's not safe for work. It could be someone else's perfectly fine for work or whatever. So it gets a little bit weird. Yeah, you see it as art. It can get really weird. Most shit does. But I think it's a good thing to stay weird and be weird, so may have to manipulate this a little bit. It definitely leads back like that, so I'm gonna just try hiding it and redrawing that. It's not going to fly for what I have right now. Oh, cool. That's what my friend does all of his comic book stuff on. Because yeah, what I've done with, what is it? One of his books I digitally inked and toned, and then I did another book where I just digitally toned it, and then did some spot coloring on a couple of pages. Oh, I've been drawing since I was a little kid, so um, started trying to draw comic book stuff probably around when I was 8. That's when I actually, I think, discovered that comic books existed. 'Cause I was aware of Batman and Superman, but I didn't know that they actually were part of this whole like picture magazine thing called a comic book. I thought they were just on TV as a kid. So after I found that out, I was kind of a little bit obsessed with stuff. See, I don't know when I got serious, because I feel like it's off and on again, and there's levels to my seriousness, I think. So I've jumped around with different aspects of art and what I'm actually focusing on.
Always obsessed. Yeah, for a long time, I think as a little kid, I was very much obsessed with comic stuff in general. But it's more recently doing fan art stuff is what's kind of shifted my my work from working on purely comic book art to doing a little bit more traditional art and stuff like that. Yeah, I can see a little bit the Star Wars clone style in your style a little bit. Then manga ham. Oh God, yeah, I remember anime and manga. That phase. Oh Jesus. Woo. That's a dark hole of infinite like style. There's so much like crap you have to try to sift through to actually pin down what you'd want to even try drawing in that stuff. Yeah, my style has fluctuated, and it depends on the medium. Like I don't I don't think I really draw like this only on digital. Do I actually does my style kind of really look like like this art right here? But that's normal. That whatever medium you're using kind of shapes how you draw and do stuff. Yeah, I haven't really read much manga recently. There's only a couple of books that friends recommended and I read, which I was really happy that I did. But that's because they knew my taste. But I definitely was into trying to learn how to draw manga and stuff for a minute there, which I still like. I think I more enjoy the fill and whatnot of some of the stories and how they have a linchpin kind of a concept that backs the whole thing, and they uh, make sure everything comes back or leads back to that one core concept. It's not. It's really precise and clean. A lot of Japanese manga and animes, fantasy stuff is it's based around an idea, and they really milk that idea. And it's not vague like a lot of the American crap that's out there. But you want American comics as well? Yeah. There's certain ones of that are nice. Usually with that stuff, it's just, that's also ones that I just have to deal with recommendations and stuff like that. Previously, I was collecting a lot of Deadpool, but I've um, stopped doing that recently. Which the last time I did that, I regretted doing it, but I'm okay with knowing that probably later down the road I'll be kicking myself over doing that. And that's future me can be upset at past me. Art is just cool. Yeah, I like just finding people that have interesting art styles. Joe Madureira is one of my favorites. Um, J. Scott Campbell. Too much Deadpool. Yeah, I'm old school Deadpool, and Deadpool's just one thing that I liked about him is he was easy to collect. There was not a lot of him. He was not popular, and then when he blew up, it's just like he's in everything now. Which I'm happy for the character that he actually, got to that point. But my wallet does not like it. Oversaturation, yes, yes. Which if any character is going to be oversaturated, Deadpool's a good one to do. He'll be able to survive it because that's basically that character to a T is just being too loud, too much there, too much of himself and whatnot. the very meta situation that he's in right now with his over abundanceness of presence. That's where he stopped drawing manga. Yeah, everyone is drawing manga right now, yeah. Everybody. So it is a good thing to do something a little bit different because then you'll stand out more. Which is important. Okay, save. Okay, that makes me a lot happier with that. The pacing was wrong. Wrong. Now the pacing is a lot better. And I may be holding the reader by the hand with some of this stuff, but because it's a slow book, it's not heavy in action, I have to make sure I do things a little bit the right pacing. Frames. Everyone is switched up style, yeah. Yeah. Thing is just take the best of both worlds with stuff is good. Cause I know there's quite a few American artists that were big fans of anime, and they've just adopted it into their work subtly. Joe Madureira is one of them, like I was saying. I don't know if Scott Campbell had any anime thing to his stuff. There's Adam. It's Adam Warren. He just basically is a complete clone of another Japanese artist out there that I really like. How is your new style? It reminds me of something. I've seen a couple of other artists do that kind of a style. Trying to remember what a tag it is. Oh man, what does that remind me of? I know that is it's Kirby. Kind of has a little bit of a Kirby-ness to it, or some of the Kirby clones. Let me pull it up. Jack Kirby. Yes, I believe it's Jack Kirby that I'm thinking of. Yes.
There's something about some of the faces that you have on here that remind me of his kind of a blocky, stoic kind of a feel. You're studying him? Well, that's probably why. If you're studying him right now, it's probably seeping through into your work. Yes, yes. There's still time. You'll probably go through a couple different transitions with your work too. And not necessarily losing anything, you just gain more repertoire, more ability, more flexibility. Which is a good thing. I'm glad I did that. I'm gonna change that guy's hair. Do I have a prior picture of him though? Rick Mueller? Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say that one as well a little bit. The only thing is um, that last one you did with the trying to do the shadow ink thing to it. Um, this one previously before that. The only thing is um, what is it? There's another silhouette one that you have further down on the piece where the main character is like completely silhouetted. But yeah, doing the black and white stuff is nice. I'm a fan of that stuff as well. I did another basically was one of these kind of things, like me trying to do a one-off thing. I didn't ever finish it. I got stuck on uh, a panel and didn't ever finish it. I may go back and try to mess with it at some point, but um, try to. I need to write that into the ground too, where I have a beginning and end to it. I think I came up with one, sort of. There's a couple of those I have that I need to learn how to. I need to learn how to write the middle Uh, so it's interesting, but I can get to the end quick. I think most stories and stuff like that are have the problem with it being too drawn out in the center. Mad Max. Ooh, Mad Max is a good one. So is your thing set up in a? From what I understand thus far with what you've said, it's in the real world that's has a uh, weird world in it. Is the real world uh, post-apocalyptic in nature? Or is it like dialing back to like I was saying earlier, is it you said you didn't know if it was Christian heaven hell kind of thing, but technically if it's I didn't really say heaven and hell either. What else is another good one? The Max is another good double world comic book, and they did a weird animation thing of it. It was pretty good. All you know is that the enemy is evil. What is evil? Is that a blanket term? Like the darkness. What is that? Demons. Okay. So whatever it is it? Are you actually planning on doing demons? Is that the wordage that you're gonna be using, or is that still up in the air? Or do you have that cemented that there is messing around with demons? No? Is that just your, what you're using right now as a placeholder? It's like you just said just there, sort of like the only thing you know is that whatever it is, it is evil. And how you describe that and how you actually define that could be uh, done in multiple different ways. Demonic monsters of some type. Okay. That's what I assumed you were talking about when you meant demons that were kind of open-ended. Well, I think that's the better way to go with it, in my opinion. Try to, because I feel like demons legitimately, like just saying it that like that is just it's been overdone. Um, I think other cultures get away with it a little bit more in different ways. Like Japanese culture has their own like different types of demons. They have like their oni and their cultural ghosts. You just don't know what mythology to use. Um, I feel like that I would have to give an opinion on that would need to know a little bit more about like hello, the crying souls. Because I always feel like creating your own lore is own mythology is better than completely stealing from someone else's. But having a um, what do you call it? Something to steal from a little bit or borrow from also is helpful. So it's an English stream. Oh no. Yeah, the only French I know are swear words. And bonjour, like you said there. I'm sorry. We need to come up with a universal language that everybody has to speak. And it should not be English, because English is rubbish. Faces. Just emo con that shit up. Yes, it is the main one that is being used. It's the worst one to be used, I feel. There's not enough I don't know, it's right brain, left brains, one of those brains depending on how you define the brains. There's two different opinions on that, but yeah, there's some issues with it. At least what it's turned into. Maybe it was cool back in the day, because some of the etymology of it isn't that bad. The
French should be the number one language. Yes, Alec, of course, yes. Thing is technically what we need to do is teach all language. We need to learn it all. The thing is if you actually study like romantic languages and um, they're quite similar in a lot of things with their the root and then the prefix and suffix is the stuff that kind of sometimes changes it up a little bit here and there. I grabbed the wrong. You'll see Crying Souls on your Instagram? Cool. Quick, Google Translate. Yeah, like I was saying, the only words that I really know in French are swear words. And the main one that I say all the time is merde, because my friend said it all the time. He studied uh, the language because he was a theater major. I don't know what connected to that. I think he went abroad to France to study at school, so I think it was connected to that. Hide this. Awesome. Where are you, my layer? I can delete you.
Drawing comic books are fun. Yes. Yes, they are. Streaming drawing comic books are fun because the only other time that I'm hanging out with people when I'm drawing these days is when I go out with my friend to the bar, get a pint. You can't drink. Yeah, got a couple of years on you. Ooh, translate a comic book into French. That's cool. Hey, don't do that. Do that. That may be something that I need to do at some point. I don't know how well it would translate though, because my book is pretty vulgar. And I don't know if uh, the jokes would be lost in translation at all. Be intriguing to find out if if it would be possible though. Okay. Fit on screen. It'll probably be all dirty words. Yes, most likely. Probably like one of your friends. Movies. Titanic. Am I right? Have I missed the boat on that one? Pun intended. Tit tat.
dear. It's getting late. Fantastic. Okay, but this is the good conversation for channeling this nonsense for sure. Because I know eventually some of these pages I will not be able to draw on here. I'm going to have to draw them offline. Because context will, they won't let me. It's 8 a.m. here. It's 4:49 here. So I can't believe I've stayed up this late and drawn. Drawn. Stay up late all the time. Translate this now. It's gonna break my computer. How close of a translation is that? Is that spot on, or is that like lost in translation a little bit? Or is it just the gist?
Are you Canadian? No, I am not Canadian. Do I sound Canadian? America. America. Yes. No, 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 no. Shut down. Phoenix, Arizona. Yeah. Shut down. What is shut down? You knew it. It's a mistake. Sorry. Yes, Phoenix is a bird. It is also a place in Arizona. It's the capital of Arizona. Named after, I assume, the bird. the mythical bird that dies and rises again from its ashes, sometimes pictated as a worm before it turns into a bird again. They don't show that often though. The worm stage. Gandalf. Yes, Gandalf's pet. That's mighty weird right now. Oh, you said Gandalf. Yeah, that's Dumbledore. You're right. My brain gets those two confused all the time. I'm American. Hmm. Harry Potter was the only book you read in English? Wow. Merge. You want to learn German? I want to learn Nihongo. In Spanish. Mainly, I want to learn Japanese. But everybody nowadays wants to learn Japanese, or a lot of people do. When I was younger, I wanted to learn French, because my mom did. That's what language she wanted to learn too. But I like ninjas, so I wanted to learn Japanese. Spanish is a second language? Cool. This is a common problem. I agree. A lot of people need to learn English, and not the pretentious part of English, like the legitimate etymology of English. Technically all languages, but that's me going back to that, man. Especially when the roots of most of English languages is Romantic and Germanic. It's what is it? It's Latin and Greek. Greek.
Fuck Windows 10 update. American English, yes. Americanese. Americanese. I speak sweet Americana. Ain't reckon as do. Tomato, tomato, tomasa. Mountain, mountain. Potato, patata, yes. You're not from the South, but you currently reside in it. Yankee bastard. Like Nixon? Dixieland. American Civil War history.